CTV News at 6 with Hudson Mack.
Good evening. Hudson Mack is off tonight. After decades of discussion, debate, and a whole lot of raw sewage, there is finally movement in the future of wastewater treatment in the capital region. The federal and provincial governments anteed up today with hundreds of millions of dollars in funding to help build a raw waste treatment plant. Each will cover a third of the nearly $780 million price tag, leaving the CRD and taxpayers on the hook for the rest. CTV's Joe Perkins joins us live with more. Joe?
Andrew, what it will cost the individual taxpayer, we don't know yet. That will depend on where you live and how much waste you create. And while you might not like the plan, you should get used to it because a new waste plan is coming. Down the toilet and straight into the ocean, a steady flow that has sent billions of liters of raw sewage from the capital region downstream. But the flow is now changing, thanks to an announcement made today in Victoria from all levels of government.
Well, I'm very pleased to be here today on behalf of Prime Minister Stephen Harper to announce over $253 million in federal funding for the construction of a regional wastewater treatment system here in the Capital Regional District.
It's funding for a plan that's been a long time coming. Currently, the CRD sewage is sieved through a metal screen, then piped into the ocean 2 kilometers offshore. But in 2006, the province ordered a change, telling the region to implement secondary sewage treatment.
Here in British Columbia,
And finally, the region has the money to move ahead.
this is $250 million.
It's the third of the funding needed to see the execution of what's being called the Core Area Wastewater Treatment Program. 3 projects across Greater Victoria. The first, a wastewater plant at McLoughlin Point with a pump station at Macaulay Point where sewage will be treated before being discharged into the ocean. There will also be a sewage storage facility underneath the ground in Cadboro Bay. And finally, a Biosolids Energy Centre at the Hartland Landfill, connected by a pipe to the Macaulay Point station.
That's a project that will work, and we had to have a project that would work in order to start getting the money.
Along with federal funding, the province will also pay nearly a third, contingent on all of the project's components being completed. The CRD will be left with the balance, meaning municipalities and the taxpayers will be expected to pay.
So those figures are still being worked out. It ranges from about $100 to about $400.
Victoria has faced criticism for how it's handled its sewage, and despite an ongoing debate that a secondary treatment isn't needed in the CRD, it doesn't seem to matter.
By the way, there are politicians here from all different political backgrounds, Conservative, Liberal, NDP. This is not a partisan left-wing, right-wing issue. It's either you believe in the science or you don't. And
with the money announced, all 3 levels of government appear on board with the new program, a system that will forever change the flush and the flow of sewage in the region. The Capital Regional District has not decided when it will begin collecting money from the municipalities. For now, it's still very much in planning mode. The CRD board has approved the 3-site plan we showed you. Could that change? It could potentially if there is enough support for a different plan that works. The CRD says it will look at it if someone presents that. There was discussion today that shovels could be in the ground sometime this year. The chair of the CRD, Jeff Young, says likely not. Construction should begin next year with the entire project finished in 2018.
But still somewhat up in the air, it sounds like.
Perhaps the plan could change, not likely, but we will see.
All right, thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.